But we don't get any free stuff. We don't have free health care. Well, our public education system
stands up for themselves all the time.
We may end up being in a bigger war.
Let me finish. Don't interrupt.
Before we dive in, let us know where you are watching from, and subscribe us please and stay till the end. Also, subscribe this channel. Whoopi Goldberg thought she was ready for a debate, but when Senator Rand Paul walked onto the view stage, she didn't know what hit her. The show, known for its lively and often heated debates, took a sharp turn when Rand Paul unleashed his full force of political arguments, leaving Whoopi completely stunned. As tension soared, the conversation quickly spiraled out of control, with Whoopi losing her composure. And by the time the dust settled, she had done something no one could have predicted. She screamed and abruptly ended the show live on air. It all started innocently enough, with Whoopi and the other hosts eager to discuss the contents of Rand Paul's new book, The Case Against Socialism. Little did they know, they were about to step into a political firestorm. The moment the discussion began, Whoopi and her co-hosts were ready to argue, but Rand was prepared to dismantle every misleading claim they threw his way. It didn't take long before the conversation veered off the rails. The first spark ignited when Sunny Hostin took a shot at Rand Paul's stance on socialism. She tried to argue that Venezuela's economic collapse had nothing to do with socialism, claiming it was merely about corruption. Rand wasn't having it. He quickly shut down Sunny's argument, declaring, "If you vote for socialism, you get socialism." The audience erupted in applause. Whoopi, looking stunned, quickly attempted to take control, but it was already clear Rand wasn't backing down. Sunny tried to regain the upper hand, but Rand was already in full swing. He expanded on the idea that Bernie Sanders' vision of socialism wouldn't fly in countries like Denmark, where they have private property, a stock exchange, and low corporate taxes. He went on to explain how Scandinavian countries fund their free stuff through heavy taxes on the working class. Whoopi was taken aback, her face showing signs of disbelief, but she quickly dismissed his points. However, the damage was already done.
but we don't get any free stuff. We don't have free health care. Well, our public education system is...
Whoopi was visibly becoming frustrated. The room was getting tense, and you could see the wheels turning in Whoopi's mind. When Rand continued to dismantle the socialist narrative, Whoopi tried to steer the conversation toward Venezuela. "But what about Maduro?" she asked, attempting to throw Rand off balance. Rand Paul remained calm and cut to the heart of the matter, saying, "If you vote for a socialist, you might get socialism." That was the line that set Whoopi off. Whoopi's voice began to rise as she tried to dismiss the realities Rand was presenting. She called Maduro not a socialist, but a corrupt, murderous thug who was starving his people. That's when Rand hit back with undeniable facts. "You can't deny that the people of Venezuela voted for socialism, and it's led to disaster," he said. Whoopi wasn't having any of it, her face reddening with anger as she interrupted him again. At that moment, the audience could feel the tension rise even more. What followed was a chaotic exchange. Whoopi, struggling to regain control of the conversation, started cutting Rand off mid-sentence, refusing to let him finish his arguments. That's when the breaking point came. Rand, staying calm as ever, shot back. "Maybe if you actually listened instead of shouting, you'd understand what I'm saying." The crowd went silent. The words hung in the air, and Whoopi was visibly shaken. In an attempt to regain control, she made the fatal mistake of screaming, "Cut to commercial!" The show went black, and just like that, the segment was over. The chaos continued behind the scenes as the producers scrambled to handle the situation. Whoopi, utterly flustered, sat in stunned silence. The audience, both in the studio and at home, was left in shock. Social media went wild. clips of the intense exchange went viral, with people discussing the meltdown for days. Rand Paul had emerged victorious, effortlessly schooling the View hosts on their own show. His calm, fact-driven approach to the discussion left the hosts scrambling for answers. Meanwhile, Whoopi was left looking defeated. Rand Paul, unaffected by the drama, left the stage with a sense of quiet confidence. He had walked in prepared, and in the end, he walked out as the clear winner of the battle. Whoopi, on the other hand, was left with an unsalvageable reputation for that day. Social media was filled with reactions, many people questioning the hypocrisy of The View, which often claims to empower women, but had spent an entire segment trying to talk over a man who was calmly presenting facts. As the viral storm continued, The View was forced to address the backlash. Some speculated that the show's ratings could take a major hit, with advertisers pulling out. Insiders whispered that The View could face serious consequences if they continued down this path. The drama was far from over, with many viewers wondering if this could be the beginning of the end for the once popular daytime talk show. In the aftermath, there was one thing that was undeniable. Rand Paul had successfully exposed the flaws in The View's arguments. His measured responses and his ability to stay calm under pressure left the hosts scrambling. Whoopi, meanwhile, seemed unprepared for the onslaught of facts that Rand Paul brought to the table. Her decision to scream and cut the segment left a sour taste in the mouths of viewers, many of whom took to social media to express their disappointment. But the real question on everyone's mind was, what now? Was this moment the final straw for The View? Would they recover from this scandal? Or was the public's outrage too much to overcome? Some people believed that the show could bounce back, but others wondered if this was a pivotal turning point. Could The View continue to thrive after such a humiliating display? Despite the public outcry, The View's future was still uncertain. Rumors circulated about whether ABC executives would make changes to the show in response to the backlash. While the network remained tight-lipped about the future of the program, it was clear that the incident had made a huge impact. In a world where public opinion could make or break a TV show, The View was now at a crossroads. For Rand Paul, however, the victory was sweet. Not only had he stood his ground, but he had done so with grace and logic. While Whoopi Goldberg and her co-hosts were left scrambling, Rand was already on to the next chapter of his campaign for the future. As for The View, it would have to face the consequences of its actions in the coming weeks and months. And now, it's your turn to weigh in. Do you think Whoopi's meltdown will be the end of The View? Or do you believe the show can survive the backlash and move forward? Leave your thoughts in the comments below and join the conversation. One thing's for sure, this story is far from over. Stay tuned for the next chapter in this drama-filled saga. You won't want to miss what happens next. If you like this video, then subscribe this channel.